is told, Commander mode is told. You're wanted in planet AB2 for combat detail. Roger that. On my way.
What is up, all you try-hard gamers? It's been a while since I've done a build video, but we're back at it, and I've got something special for you today. I decided to sort of shake up the order in which the videos go, and decided to do a little different just to see how it goes. I hope you guys enjoyed the combat video already. So let's get right into this build. Now, the concept. We'll go to core internals first. Okay, so let's just start this way. You want reactive surface composite. And I modded this out. Thermal resistant armor and reflective plating. Now the reason I didn't do heavy duty was that I really wanted to focus on resistances rather than just straight hull strength, okay? As it stands, we're about 50% on all the damage resistances, which is pretty damn good. Got it up to about 50, so that's really good. Power plant. Charged. Overcharged power plant. Now, it is true that I've got a crap ton of length here and my power, and I could have gone for low emissions, so that's something you might want to think about. This build is not really power hungry, so you can mess around with a bunch of different experimentals and different effects if you want to on the power plant. 6A thrusters, needless to say. Dirty drive tuning, get that up as much as you can. I mean, it's always good to have some really good speed. And especially if you take this out into PvP, you're going to have to chase some people down. Frame shift drive, this is going to go for range, of course. And 7A power distributor. Charge enhance. I always go charge enhance. I don't know why I even go to the modification screen, because you guys already know what I'm going to choose there. So, charge enhance is really good for just about any build. Now, here's where it gets really, really interesting. Okay, so I opted for a 5 instead of a 6 slot bi-weave shield generator. The point of this build, it is a hull tank hybrid, okay? So the idea is not to tank with a crap ton of shield. The idea is to have shield there as a buffer, and then really, really fast shield recharge, okay? So I've got thermal resistant. Yeah, I only have grade 2. I'm working on getting it up to 5, and you guys should get it up to 5 as well. But the key thing here is fast charge. Now, because of the weapons that I have in on this build, I can keep about 2.5 pips into shields, 2.5 pips into engines, and then 1 pip into weapons. Okay. Now, I know that it's different for some people who do really well on their pip management. They don't have to worry about that anyway. That's not how I fly. Okay, so I usually stay stagnant when it comes to pip management. It's just the way that I learned to play the game. But it's really good for people like me who fly it that way. And as you saw, I mean, you saw in the combat, right? Like, there were a couple times my shields went down, didn't matter. They were back like that. They were back really, really quick, and I took hardly any damage on my hull. Most of the damage that I took to my hull was from ramming, right? It wasn't even really from the weapons. So I got a 5.8 fuel scoop, and the reason why I've got a fuel scoop on this thing is because I like to go to conflict zones, and those are scattered all throughout the galaxy, right? And I want to be able to travel. This thing is conflict zone ready. It's definitely conflict zone ready. It was the first place where I tested this thing out, so... and the rest are hull reinforcement packages. A couple of them I have reflective plating on just to get my resistances up. But as you can see, this thing is a beast. We're sitting at 4,607 integrity. Utilities, we're not running shield boosters. Why? We want fast recharge. We're not going for amazing shield strength. So I've got a couple chaff launchers for mitigation of damage, and then a couple point defense turrets for missiles, should our opponent decide to shoot missiles at us. Now the hard points. As you saw, they're all cannons, right? Hardly any, I hardly see any builds out there with cannons. And I think that's because they get a really bad rep, you know? People tend to not use them. They're sort of that redheaded stepchild of weapons. They rarely get used, and they've got a really bad reputation. Well, I decided to go full 5, grade 5, overcharged, with oversized. Maximize the DPS. Just maximize it. If you can hit with this thing, with these cannons, almost every shot, you're going to blow their shields down, depending on which difficulty you're doing. If you're doing like grade or a threat 6 or 7, that might be a different story. But when it comes to your regular missions, your bounty hunting, you are going to blow them out of the sky. You probably saw in that combat footage, 1 or 2 volleys, shields are gone. Shields are absolutely gone, and it's even more devastating to the hull. So that, I think that about wraps it up. I mean, the only other thing that I probably want to mention here is that the one downside, I think, to using these weapons is that there's not a lot of ammo. So you're going to want to make sure you have some materials ready to synthesize if you're going on some long-term engagements, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and like and comment. It helps the channel out. Have a great, fantastic night.